Ogbe Odi, long life, Akaba, welcome. Adu Ori Ego, we thank the ancestors for their wisdom. Today we're going to speak about the holy Odu Ogbe Odi. These Odus I'm reading are from the compilation of Odu by Baba Salami Ibaye. It's a good collection. I like it. It doesn't list the abodes, which actually makes some sense. The process of making abodes is different for each lineage and should probably be taught orally. There's one thing that confuses some people sometimes about the particular collection of Odus, and that is that a lot of the verses, the same paragraph is repeated 3 times. Anytime you see a paragraph repeated 3 times, it means that paragraph is the Oriki to be spoken when you're making offerings. And it's to be spoken 3 times. That's why it's repeated 3 times. Hello. First time to get the words out, second time to clear the head, third time to speak it with Ashe. So Salami also did a good job of footnoting each section of the Odu with the words that were more obscure. He didn't always define them as clearly as I would have liked, but he did make reference to what they were referencing. So that's helpful, obviously, which will come up in today's verses. We'll see here in a minute. So let's get started. It is so Iba Ogbe Olofum, the cast divination for Ogele. So Olu Ofon is one of the praise names for what is known as Orisha Ofunfum, which are variations of the spirit of Obatala, essentially. William Bascom, in his study of Odu Ifa, gathered names for Obatala and categorized them as Orisha Funfun. I would say it was all Egbe Obatala, and that each of the different names represents a different aspect. I mean, that's a area of study that's rich with potential for getting us a deeper look at who Obatala was, what it is, how it is manifest in nature. All right, so Olufun, Obatala, let's say, and then Ogele. Ogele is one of the wives of Olufun. So we have Obatala representing the manifestation of white light into the world, or the manifestation of consciousness. I would describe it as the manifestation of a longitudinal light beam. Ogele, from the legion Ogele. O is spirit, Gele is the house of female power. Alasia, that's the name of a priest for the city of Ogiyan. Ogiyan is one of the major centers for the priesthood for Oko. So we're saying Obatala, Obatala's wife, the priest of Orisha Oko, and Oshala, which is a praise name for Oshala. It's a praise name for Oya, I think, as I recall, would never sell his own children for peanuts. Ogedi is a goody divination for Ajogbe. Ajogbe would be a messenger of consciousness or the ability to communicate with Source, crying because of children. Would I have many children? He asked. They told him to make an offering. Ajogbe made the offering. How do we recognize Ajogbe? He is the one we call the housefly. Literal translation, the dog, or coming from spirit, coming from the messenger. So housefly here is associated with a form of totem or ability of animals and nature to communicate messages from spirit. There is no city one could not find Ajogbe. So it's a reference to the idea that the housefly is seen everywhere throughout Africa. So it obviously has internalized the mystery of reproduction and replenishing itself and spreading its genetic code throughout the landscape. So that's the reference here. People started saying, "Are the children of Ajogbe these many?" He was dancing, he was rejoicing, he was praising his awo. His awos were praising Ifa. He said it is exactly as his awo used their good mouth in praising Ifa. So that's saying that the yes, from line 10 to line 20 is the Oriki array for this verse, starting with how do we recognize Ajogbe and ending with he said it is exactly as his awo said. If you have the text, you can follow along with. Okay, so the first verse actually repeats too. So let's check that. So the Oriki Ray is from the first verse to the 20th line, from the first line to the 20th line. So the line repeats, "Where do you travel to celebrate without seeing Ajogbe? Ajogbe is back with lots of riches." So it's a verse that is used to invoke priest of Oko in Ogian. I would also argue that this priest can be used to, at the beginning of planting season, when you're planting crops and you're invoking Oriki or Orisha Oko. So sometimes these verses are not as clear on the surface as those that were not raised in the culture and don't understand all the references could fully appreciate, let's say. So we thank the ancestors for their wisdom. Ire Ashe To.